crafters. This is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and I welcome you to my channel and to the second part of this mini album tutorial. I'll be leaving links in the description bar below if this mini album set becomes available once again from Tonic Studios. What I'm showing you here is how I decorate this book, adding all of the layers that come with the mini album dies, as well as decorative stickers, flowers, and the like. What I'm going to show also is how I decide to use different types of dies, such as the really adorable little purse die that you just saw, and that gold colored card. It's mirror cardstock, but it also has others within the same pack. And so what you see here is a more muted gold that I decided to use on this page. So you're going to see a variety of different little page styles, nothing too complicated, so this is very beginner friendly. I went ahead and designed the pages around the pictures because I actually did print them out this time around. So the pictures you're about to see in this book are all of my family. They are different people within my family, and I had a beautiful auntie celebrate a 75th birthday, and that cake you see there is her actual birthday cake, and I just thought it would be a wonderful gift to give to her so that she can have all of these memories from that day within this book. And I was unable to attend, sadly. It was out of the country, and so I figured why not give her a little mini album. So what you see here are different pieces of dies that I have accumulated from Tonic Studios. One of them is that little border die that you see me decorating now with little flowers. It's actually from the last kit release, and it was different frames that you could use or borders to create frames. And also the picture is on one of the dies that creates the little hoops. So that's the rectangular one there. So you see me adding little gems to the flowers and just matching it to not only the background paper but also the clothing of the people in the pictures. They happen to be two of my aunties and my mom. So this is a very special book, and I do hope that you enjoy the tutorial. It's just going to be more of a process so that you can see how I go about decorating the pages. Now, if you saw the first video, you will have seen how I added this page and also notice that I created a pocket. So here I'm adding the matting layers, and as you saw, I did cut them and also decided to add this little piece. It's called a mandala piece, and this was from the Rainbow Box Tonic Craft Kit die set. What I decided to do was add it here as a decorative piece, and this is what I love about the dies from Tonic Studios, is that they're interchangeable with all different types of projects that you may make, whether it be card making, boxes, mini albums, you name it. You just add them as you wish. And as you see there, I added the background in that gorgeous gold cardstock and then the teal color right on top. And then within that little pocket, I added all sorts of little pictures that I had already matted using a different die set. So on the opposing page, I selected the same exact background paper, and now just added two little pictures there. And I found in my stash some little stickers that I thought were very appropriate for this book. And as you see here, I changed my mind. I take stickers off, I put them back on again, move them around. It all depends on what the page is calling for. And if you see me closing and opening the pages, it is because I try to make sure that any of the elements that I add on a page do not obstruct or damage the pictures that will be within that book. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to do that when you're giving the book away without pictures, but if I'm adding the pictures, then that's something that is really important to me. Now, here are my favorite little flowers from Tonic Studios. They are the little daisy flowers, and what I did here is that I used that die set and I just cut out some white paper. It's a wonderful way to use your leftover white paper, in fact, and I create the little flowers by stacking 3 of the die cuts together, and that's how I made every single one of them. And then for the centers to match my book, I cut those little centers out of the gold cardstock as well. So that little leaf that you saw there, I actually colored with an alcohol marker to match the green in the page, and I'm adding the little picture with that other little frame that I had cut out with yet another Tonic Studios die out of gold cardstock, and now you see that those centers of those flowers match that background perfectly because of that additional open frame. An open frame is a really wonderful way to add a little pop of color to a page without adding bulk. All you have to do is stack your dies and cut the center of the frame out as well as the outer border. And there you see how beautifully that looked. Now, moving on, I'm using some green cardstock that I had left over from another project, and I have colored it using this gorgeous Tonic Studios Nuvo Mousse. And now I'm going to be cutting it out of this die that's also from the very last Tonic Studios kit. And as you see there, I cut the background using the solid die, and then I created the layers by using both of those dies. And now I use double-sided adhesive on the back of that beautiful green paper. Once I cut it out using the die that you see here, I was able to use it as if it were a stencil. All I did was place it right on top of the previous die cut, and if you see there, I used my little pokey tool. I pushed all those little pieces of paper right onto the background, and some of them stayed behind, so I just grab them and pop them right in there. It's like a little puzzle piecing. And there you have it. So of course I did that also in that gorgeous peach pearlescent cardstock, and this is now going to adorn the pictures that I'm placing on this page. So of course you can play the video a little bit slower. I speed them up so that I don't take up too much of your time, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to respond. I just find it to be a really beautiful way to use those dies. And I have another video in which you can see some card samples using the same die set. I just wanted to come back, use the die set one more time, and show you yet another option of how you can use those. And I thought it matched this book beautifully. Now here I'm cutting a slit right into this die cut piece that's going to be also the background of one of my pages. I cut out another smaller piece using the same die set, just a smaller die. If you see there, I have a little bit of an edge. I folded it, and now I'm cutting away the little corners at a 45-degree angle. I'm slipping that right onto that background page. I'm flipping it over and adhering it right onto the back, creating a hinge, because this will allow me to create a page that will be interactive by having just a little window or a door, however you want to see that. There is a magnet on the background. This is going to be glued right on the back there. And with a little tool that I have here that looks like a metal spatula, I'm going to push that paper right behind that pink one so that it doesn't poke out, if you will, and that way I can open and close that. And now I'm hiding the other magnet with a smaller die cut piece, and I'm grabbing a little tab that comes with the die set. These are just adorable. I'm adding that, topping it off with gold, and now here you see I can hide two pictures within that little door that I created. Very simple but effective, and the reason being that I can now add a decorative piece right on top, and it'll be really sweet. In fact, I wanted to mention the stickers that I'm using are from Obed Marshall. He created a paper collection for American, I'm forgetting the name, but I'll list it down below. And this is for my auntie, as I mentioned before. And my family is Spanish speaking. This paper collection is full of sentiments that are in Spanish. So from the paper collection, I only use the stickers. That background paper collection is entirely different. They just happen to match. And it does say felicidad es estar contigo, and that means happiness is being with you. And there it says eres especial. That means you are special. but the actual paper collection is actually from DCWV. If I find a link, I will leave that in the description bar of this video as well. This one here is really pretty blue. I'm going to be creating yet another little door, and I'm going to follow the same instructions as before with creating a folded edge on the paper, only now I'm actually using a different shape die cut. As you can see there, I glued them together, and by adding this to the base, I can create yet another kind of peekaboo page. And now I'm decorating the top of that. I've used these two pieces that come with the die collection. As you can see there, you can actually thread a ribbon through it, and the golden piece does say I love you. It's just the little heart and the letter U. I layered it onto the holographic paper, which I also layered onto a piece of thin chipboard. Then I was able to thread that ribbon through it, and as you can see there, using red liner tape, I was able to adhere that to the back of that picture, and now it has that adorable little embellishment. And I'm also adding yet another little tab here, layered in gold, to that page so that it just points to the fact that you can open it. And I'm really happy with how that looks. And the sentiment says recordar, which means to remember. And I'm just adding yet more little stickers from that other collection. Moving along to the next page, I'm using yet another corner from the Assorted Frames Tonic Craft Kit and two layering pieces for the page. I'm first going to add the background pieces, as I have for all of the other pages, hiding any magnets. Then I'm going to add the frame. And I'm very happy with the results of the Assorted Frames Tonic Craft Kit. You're going to see here in a moment, after I add the picture, that I will be able to decorate with one of those frames. It's absolutely beautiful. I did cut it out 3 times. The topmost layer is in the white glitter cardstock from Tonic Studios that was also available in the kit. I inlaid it with gold cardstock, and the flowers that you see in the bottom left hand corner are created with cardstock, and I also added embellishment mousse to match. So I was very happy with the results of that. Here, moving on to this next layout, I added on the background this paper that looks almost like a watercolor, and then laid on top of that beautiful pink paper that matched the frames. And the woman in the picture is actually wearing a blouse that had the leaves that look exactly like the ones that I added to match the page. I also took advantage of one of the little tags that you can cut out with the Eternal Moments die set. I added that with one of those little balloon stickers that I had in my stash, and then I proceeded to layer the little flowers right on top of the leaves and yet another sentiment. On the opposing page, I'm adding the very same colors, so starting off with that base layer to cover the magnets. I really love the design of that paper, so I repeated that again. It'll also make the layout more cohesive. I'm adding the pictures also framed in the same color, and that gorgeous little cake is actually made with Sizzix dies. Those were designed by Olivia Rose. And now I'm moving a little bit faster just so that I don't take up too much of your time. I'm going to frame out another picture. I did cut it out using the die set. It has these beautiful layers, and this in my hand is one of them. You can cut it out using 2 separate dies, and as you can see, it has a really gorgeous design. I placed the picture in the center and added that to the background with a sticker and some more little flowers, and all of the shiny paper that you have seen I created using Nuvo embellishment mousse, as I showed you earlier in the video. It makes the project look a little more cohesive when you have the same colors throughout. Keeps it looking a little bit of the same, but it's very pretty in the end. And here you see that twine once again with a little bow. And I'm moving on to the very last page in this mini album, which is also the back cover. I'm using the same color paper as I did in the opposing page, only this time I created a larger frame using the dies from the Eternal Moments die set. I placed my picture and yet another couple of stickers here that say family time and inolvidable, which means unforgettable. Now at the very end here, what I'm doing is adding some very muted little sequins from Tonic Studios. They're very barely visible in the video, but I did strategically place those throughout just to add a little bit more shine and texture. Sometimes it's just about those little details. If you see there on the back of my hand, you can actually see the color of those sequins. They match the paper perfectly, so I decided to place them in the center of some of the flowers and throughout just to keep the eye moving on the page. And now I'm adding just a couple more little stickers, as you can see, and I'm moving to the cover of my book, which I tend to always do last just so that I can gauge how many pieces I can add to the book without ruining the decoration on the cover. So I did create all of those flowers by hand. I cut out the leaves, and the leaves were all colored with the same green embellishment mousse. The flowers are all created by using different sprays from Tonic Studios, as well as embellishment mousse. And I'll then be adding Nuvo drops to the center of some of the flowers. This all matched perfectly, and it even matched the seam binding that I had selected. So I'm going to add this a little bit here, and I'm considering this a little bit of a bonus feature. If you recall the previous video and how I made the spine, maybe you were a little bit concerned about how I was going to finish off the spine of this book. And I'm showing you how. I've taken a piece of very lightweight chipboard, and yes, you can get this as well from Tonic Studios, and I'm actually going to cover this using the glitter cardstock that I had used on this project. Here I'm just using a bookbinding tool that I happen to have in my stash and a bone folder. These are just items that I've been using for many years and I feel comfortable with. However, you can use anything you like. Just a ruler is sufficient, really. And I'm just folding this paper as if I was folding paper along a gift box. Just wrapping that piece of chipboard, not chapboard, that piece of chipboard all the way around. And what I'm trying to do is, of course, make those corners be very nice and sharp. And there I actually place double-sided adhesive on the back. And this is actually going to be the spine of my book. And I'm keeping it quite simple, but I'm adding more Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I want to make sure that this makes full contact. And I'm going to be patient with this. So I always mention in my videos they are sped up. However, when I create a mini album, I take my time. I give it time to dry, and I keep it at least 24 hours before I send it off or gift it to make sure that everything is in the place that it should be and make any necessary changes. But at the very end, in the pictures, you'll see how I finished decorating this with a few more Nuvo drops. I hope that you have enjoyed this video tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Follow those links in the description bar for any of the items you wish to pick up. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching.